Okay, Mumble Admin. There are only a couple of
89 enter
people.
channel.
There are only a couple of people who have Mumble Admin, but this Mumble Admin is not just for the people who actually have Mumble Admin. It's also general usage and how to conduct yourselves in Mumble. So it's good for everybody to go through this. The Mumble server is graciously
And has
provided by
moved to
Fullax.
AFK.
He pays monthly for the server. I think it's like between $5 and $10 a month. So if you see him around, just give him a heads up and say, "Hey, thanks, man. I know you're paying for the Mumble server on your own dime. We really appreciate it because we do use this Mumble server constantly. There is always somebody in this server, and it's a really great service that he provides. And so we owe him our thanks, so to speak. Also, that also means that he is the absolute and final say on all Mumble policies and administration. So before we get into the real meat of the Mumble document here, I just want to come out and get this going in your mind already. Do not ever drag players out of the AFK channel under any circumstances. And the reason why, this is because when you go into the AFK channel, you're auto suppressed by the Mumble server. If you get dragged out of the Mumble channel, your mic can suddenly become active, and if you're around your desk talking or having an argument with your significant other or having a private conversation with your family, we do not want to hear that, and it, in my opinion, is a gross invasion of privacy. So we have a rule that's never ever to be violated, that you do not drag players out of the AFK channel. So next slide, I want to talk a little bit about the Mumble admin policies. Another thing that we don't do in Mumble is move another active person to a different channel without their consent. So that means if you've got somebody who's really annoying you in Mumble and you just want to move them over to Rage Timeout, or you want to move them to a different game, do not do that unless you tell them and get their permission for you to move them.
Channel.
A person who's been AFK in a channel for a long period of time, greater than 2 hours, is unresponsive, can be moved to AFK safely. Another rule that we don't ever violate is you don't global mute someone for any reason. If you have a problem player that you need to get rid of, you can local mute them, which means that they're muted for your computer only, or you can go ahead and kick them, but you have to go through the kick process. Another thing we don't do is change the channel names, but it's okay occasionally to add new channels for new games, or if you need to make a temp channel for a squad or something, that's fine, but you got to be reasonable. And if a disrupted player needs to be banned, not just kicked, you need to get in touch with Fullax or myself. I think you can also get in touch with Silverstreak and Brox and maybe a couple others, but let someone know if somebody's being so disruptive that they actually need to be banned forever from the server. The next slide, I want to talk a little bit about Mumble Quirks. So everybody that regularly comes in Mumble should right-click their name and register themselves. Basically what this does is it reserves your name by creating a certificate and signing a certificate that is exchanged to and from the Mumble server that keeps us ensured that when you say that your name is Asmo and you connect to the server, that you're actually Asmo. If you don't right-click your name and click register, what happens is anybody can come into Mumble and say that they're Asmo or say that they're Duo 1984 or whatever, and we have no way of knowing unless they either talk to us and we recognize that their voice is different, or maybe they say that they don't have a mic and they're typing to us. So it just prevents impersonation, and everybody should do it. The one caveat with this is that if you reinstall your operating system or you try to connect from one of your other computers, say your laptop, you will not be able to connect under the name that you want and that you previously reserved, precisely because to the server it looks like an impersonator. So what you're going to have to do is get in touch with one of the Mumble admins and ask them to remove the certificate for the other name, and that way you can connect under whatever name you like. So we have a couple of people in here that have multiple machines and use multiple machines to access Mumble. What we ask that they do is they just do like their name and then an underscore laptop, or Asmo underscore phone, something like that, to distinguish between the different machines.